everybody. Thank you. Those who joined on Zoom, thank you. Good to see you. Okay, we want to hit a number of points today, and I want you to run with me on this. Yeah, I have some paper here. Yep. And let me know where it works, if it stops working, all right? We're gonna build a halachic model, a model in halakha that's gonna help us really understand Hanukah more. Okay, so let's work it, and you guys tell me how you feel about it as we go. Good? Good. Okay, first, let's say a child comes over to us, right? A child walks over, and a child's classic question is, why, mommy? Right? Why, mommy? Good. Typically, that's what we have. A child will ask the why question. Hold on one second. Kelly, you want to look at this stuff? Oh, no, I think it's okay. Anything that has a button, I call my daughter Gail. Okay. Okay. When a parent is approached by a child, it's typically a why question. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Right? Good? Okay. In Judaism, I want you to work with me on this. In Judaism, I'm going to exaggerate the point. We don't care about the why. I know, Sarah. I know you'll be. I know. She's going to, but stay with me. Yeah, I know. We don't care about the why. We don't care about the why. Okay, I want you to hold that in your minds. What do we care about? We only care about the how. We only care about the how. In other words, why do we have Shabbat? Who cares? How do we keep Shabbat? Oh, that's what we spend years and lifetimes, right? Our rabbis say a person should be studying the halachot of Shabbat his or her entire life, because that's the cornerstone of our relationship with God, right? So why do we have Shabbat? I don't know. I don't have to know. And how do I build Shabbat and love it and have it impact my life more? Not by understanding more of why I have it, by understanding more of how to keep it. This is a fundamental in Judaism, okay? So how do I get, if I have the beracha of, let's think of something. Oh, well, okay, we can talk about it now in Hanukah. Or if you have the mitzvah, how are you? You have the mitzvah of Parashat Chala, of separating the Chala, right? In the beginning of the day, forget the end of the day. Do we care why we're separating Chala? We don't. We don't. I want to move you off this thing. What do we care about? How you separate Chala. How you separate the Chala. The mastery of the details on the how gives me my track to get closer to myself and to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I don't want to embarrass anybody, but the same mastery of the details that Vivian has this extraordinary capacity to provide in the Torah, what brings you closer to it? Not the why. How do I put these pieces together? How do I build a model? How do I make a connection? It's only a how question. It's always a how question. And the Western perspective is always a why question, right? Some people published books recently. It was a very hot thing. It's all about the why and this and that. It ain't, at least not in Judaism. It's all about the how. So if I want to get closer to myself and God, what do? I learn the details of the halakha. I learn the details of connecting dots in the Chumash. I learn the details, and the details get me there.
Why? Someone asks why, and you tell them. The details.
Okay, you can answer it, but it's not going to get you there. You're right. You're right. Why do we do all this? Generally, to get closer to God. How do we get closer to God? By doing the details.
It's a very hard.
I know. And that's why, yeah,
Light on and Shabbat, it's not work, like why? And
Excellent.
if it's following rules, how do you explain that? to
okay, so we're gonna go step by step. Excellent. I want to run with you on this. Huh?
It's called the practice over the purpose.
Good. The practice over the purpose. Perfect. It's the practice. And I want to say, no, I mean, hi, how are you? I want to tweak it a little bit. I want to say it's the practice over the reason or,
Purpose.
okay, you can say that. Okay, I'm good with that.
I
I'm good with that. Okay, I'm good. I'm good with that.
Come from a religious home.
I
Try
hope.
to tell that to somebody who walks along the perform.
Excellent. And I want to tell you something. It's a great point. That's the way to build the reform person.
That's the way.
That's the way. We're missing that point, but that's the way. Let's get there step by step. So hold as your headline, whether you're there or not, that it's not about the why, it's about the how. In other words, the more I learn how to do something, how to do it, the more I get into the details, the closer I get to myself and God. In other words, do I have any idea why we separate challah? Why we separate challah? Why? I could come up with ideas, but nobody really cares about the ideas why. And that's not where we spend our time. It's a Western thing. It's an American thing. It's very nice, but it doesn't have a lot to do with Torah. Torah has the following. If I understand more and more of the how, I get, so to speak, more and more into God's mind. I get more and more into the overall mindfulness of Torah and the world, and that's how I do it. All right? Stay with me, Sarah. We'll work it out. All right? We'll work it out. Okay, we'll work it out. Good? Hold that as your headline. Okay, good. When we said also, we said last time that what's our model? We do the mitzvah, however little or much we know about it, we do it, we learn about it, and then we do it again, right? On a deeper level. We learn about it, and then we do it again, right? Got it? Action first. Action always first with a Jewish person. We jump in the water. We do the Nachshon thing first. We always do. We jump in as little as we know. Doesn't matter, right? We learn about it. So now we learn how to do it better. We do it better. We learn more and like that. And what's the upshot of it? And we're going to hold this as our recurring theme and goal, to become better people, closer to ourselves and closer to God. Okay? So this point of it's about the how and not the why ties back to what we did last time in the second perek of Pirkei Avot when we learned that first Mishnah, which is that it's about action, knowledge, action, knowledge, action, knowledge. Okay? Good. Now, so let's dig into some hows and see how they feel. When I say a beracha before I do a mitzvah, what am I doing? I'm preparing myself for the mitzvah. Okay, now, is the beracha a separate mitzvah or not? Think about it a minute before you answer. Is the beracha a separate mitzvah, or is the beracha a tool, an enabler of the mitzvah itself? And I'm going to compound the question a little bit. If you forgot to say the beracha and you did the mitzvah, what do you say, Alan? Huh? What do you think? Yeah. What?
You get the credit.
You get credit. Yeah. Credit for the mitzvah. Whether I get the credit for the mitzvah, the beracha or not, whether I said the beracha or not. Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Beauty. So what does that mean?
It's separate.
Separate. Beauty. So the beracha is a separate mitzvah, and the doing of the mitzvah is a separate mitzvah, right? I do two mitzvot every time I say the beracha on one mitzvah.
Want to buy an oval. Want to
Second.
buy an oval.
And not do the mitzvah, then it's a beracha about that.
Beauty. But can I do the opposite?
The opposite, yeah.
Yes. So if I say the beracha and don't do the mitzvah, right? I prep for nothing, right? And that's an interesting question. If it's really two separate things, why is this batala? If I said a beracha for something, even if I didn't do the something, if it's a separate mitzvah, what's the problem? We'll leave it, but you're making a very nice point, right? You understand the question? We're not going to deal with the question, but it's a great question. If the beracha is a separate mitzvah, and I said the beracha and I didn't do the mitzvah, so what? But we don't hold that way. Okay, we hold they're separate but connected, but they're separate. Okay, so if I say the beracha and I do the mitzvah, the idea behind that is, thanks. The idea behind that is what? That the how is the better how.
Not understanding.
Oh, good. All right, Cynthia. All right.
Okay, clarify.
All right, somebody go there. Cynthia doesn't know that. Never did. Okay, so let's take it again. Step by step. A, it's about the how, right? Good. B, do, learn, do better, learn. So the how becomes a better how. The more I know about the mitzvah, the better I'm going to execute it. So if I do it, learn about it, I'm going to do it on a better level. So my how I do it is going to be better, and I'm going to grow more.
Yeah.
So therefore, what?
But what is the mitzvah that we?
Let's talk about, let's stay with separating the challah for a minute. Okay, let's stay with that for a minute. We're going to move it to Hanukah. But
Understanding the why as we're building?
exactly, without understanding the why.
Okay.
Forget the why thing. I want you to, how are you? Mabruk, you just had a grandson. Mabruk. Back one. Thank you.
So that's just like praying. You
Huh?
pray, sometimes you pray and you don't know exactly everything you're saying, but you're praying.
Good. Very good. So, yeah, good. Okay, so work it, stay with it, okay? The more, huh? Everything is a whole. Very good. So let's talk about Diane's point. Diane's raising a great point. She says, but it might be true for some halachot, but not for all. Why? Because some laws are called chukim, i.e., the things that God gave us that we will never understand, and others are called mishpatim, the things that we can make logical sense of. What do our rabbis do with that idea? They dump it. They totally dump it.
They don't like it.
Huh?
They don't like it.
They don't like it, Cynthia. They don't like it. Okay, let's do this again. All right? There's an opinion that says that there are laws we understand the why of. They're called mishpat, right? And there are laws that we don't understand the why of, and they're called chok. What would be an example? Shabbat, you would say, is put in the first category. We understand why we do Shabbat. And not wearing a garment with linen and wool would be put in the second category of Shatnez. We don't do it. We can't possibly understand why. What does Shlomo HaMelech do? You remember? What does Shlomo do? Shlomo spends his whole life and he researches the whys on
Finding out.
Mitzvah, right?
Finding out.
And he finds them all but one. And what does he say when he gets to the end? It was a complete waste of time.
It doesn't matter.
Total, what do you mean? You went through hundreds of mitzvot. You figured out the why for all of them, just about. It's a complete waste of time, but it gets better. Our rabbis write, based on the mitzvah of kibbud av v'em, our rabbis write, kibbud av v'em, honoring a parent. Is that a mishpat, something that's logical, or is that a chok, something that's illogical and can't be explained? What is it? Right, it's logic. What do we call it? A chok. Why? Because everything
It's both.
Everything is a chok. If you're going to tell me that honoring a parent is a chok, we do it because God said, not because we understand why. And they use that, Chama Vadia writes about it extensively. He uses that to say everything is a chok.
You're not sure.
Huh?
You're not sure.
No.
You're not sure.
Beauty.
It's like the chakras.
Go further.
You
Cynthia.
don't know
Go-
the reason.
I don't care about the reason.
Okay,
God give us two mitzvot that he gives us the reason on purpose.
Which two? Yeah, good, good, beauty. Those two are those are the two, right? And our rabbis work them and they say, you know what? It's true. If you do this, you'll have, God willing, all of us, a longer life, right? Huh?
But it's not the reason.
That's not the reason. It's the reward. No problem. It's the reward. A yields B. It's no. The reason is what's the point? What's the purpose? The reward is what happens. All right. Okay.
What's the other one? The same thing. Do this, and this will happen. Again, it's a
Right.
reward.
Okay. It's the reward. It's not the why. But by the way, do I want to do things for the reward? Sure. Of course I do. I want the reward, right? We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, right? But do I care about the why? I don't.
uh-huh.
So get off the why thing. All right. We've been trained that way. We've been inundated with that kind of thing, right? But it's limiting because I can only understand the why on my terms based on current rationale. So, okay, it's good to do Shabbat because I get close to my family. If you don't get close to your family, should you not do Shabbat? What are you talking about? 1 second. But it
You'll
goes,
get more people that way.
huh?
You'll get more people that way without
Which-
the why.
Without the why or with the why?
No, without the why, you'll get more people,
All right, okay,
more people to celebrate and do.
okay, great, yeah.
So,
With other people that are not, we need the why. There's no question. Without a why, nobody, they'll stand you.
Okay, leave that aside. You might be right. I don't know, but I'm talking about us. You may be right. Okay, so headline is the how, drop down. Beracha and mitzvah are two separate things, right? If I do the beracha, I did one mitzvah. If I do the mitzvah, it's separate, right? Good. The wrapping paper on this thing is that I do, I learn, I do, I learn. And what am I learning? What am I learning? I'm learning how to do the mitzvah better. So what we should be doing, what we should be teaching, what we should be learning is how to do the mitzvah better, not why we do the mitzvah. How do you get into the details, into the granular details of a mitzvah? That's where all the fun is. And,
the why,
huh?
not the why. We're not looking for the why.
No, no why. Mabruk. Sorry. Ray, Mabruk. We got the whole bris parading to the thing. Mabruk. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Try to figure out the why. That's when we fell.
Okay, so explain it. Speak up so they can hear you.
God just said, don't eat from the tree.
Right,
But the minute the snake tried to put a reason.
We
and
rationalize.
Why
right.
to the mitzvah,
Now we start to have a problem.
that's what we have.
Super. Take care, Michael. Mabruk.
Ricky, I don't understand why you're saying it's two separate, why is that such a big deal?
I'm going to tell you why it's such a big deal. Excellent, excellent. I'm going to tell you why it's a big deal. I'm going to tell you, before I tell you why it's a big deal, I'm going to tell you one other thing. When we make the beracha, right? We have another term here. I want you to try to own as many of these terms as possible, okay? Because they're building blocks. They're building blocks. When we say over la'asiyatan, I make the beracha over la'asiyatan. What does that mean? Before I do the mitzvah. So I make the beracha, which is a separate mitzvah, before I do the mitzvah, right? Over as a ramp, as a lead up to the mitzvah, right? Good? Always, yeah. Yeah, so we have, that's one of the exceptions because we have different menagim, very good. But otherwise, always, yeah. The question comes up to Linda's point, there are certain mitzvot we don't have beracha for. Why not? It's a fabulous question, different conversation, but why don't I have a mitzvah, beracha for some of the most important mitzvot, like giving charity to ani, right? Why don't I have beracha for doing chesed for somebody, lo alenu, who needs chesed?
The
Why don't
reward is in the next world.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe. All right. Good. Let's keep going. Now, so if I'm saying the beracha before I do the mitzvah, right? And the whole point is to be in the mitzvah when I do it, right? To be present in it, right? Understanding the purpose of it. So what's the purpose of the bracha that I say before? It's to get me more in it. It's to get me more in it. That's my door. The door opens. I move more into it. I'm in the zone. So what does the bracha do for me? It puts me in the zone, right? I'm in the how zone. It's all the how zone. Does the bracha tell me anything about the why? Never. It just tells me, I'm about to do this how. Let's go. Cool? Okay, so far?
Really? Not really.
Huh? Huh? Exactly.
I don't know about that. The
Right.
how.
That's why we're here.
Okay.
Yeah, Sarah?
Without the why, you're just a puppet.
Ah. Ooh.
That's your-
Everybody's
Back to the
thinking
robot.
about what
Okay,
it is.
I want to tell you, I want to tell you, do you, because you don't know the why, can you decide to do it or not? No, I'll tell you like this. Do we have to do it? Sorry to say, the answer is yes. But it goes like this. It's a little bit of a different spin. It goes like this. And we've said this before in other contexts, right? And the neshama is built a certain way, right? Your neshama, Sarah, could never work well, would never be successful in a non-Jewish person. Not that there's anything wrong with non-Jewish people. They're wonderful. But it can't work. Your neshama is tooled for you. In fact, it's tooled for you being Sephardic, being in this community, being here at this time in Jewish history. Your neshama is tooled for all of that. That's how it works. Okay? Now, it's a computer, right? Exactly, like a supercomputer. Good. Your neshama needs to do the mitzvah. You're not doing it because you have to do it. You're doing it because it's who you are. You don't have a choice. You're right. You don't have a choice. Because to be happy, your neshama can't be happy without that mitzvah. What do you mean? What does kashrut have to do with me being happy? By the way, everything. The idea you are what you eat is a very much Jewish idea. We are what we eat. So if we eat something that's taref, our neshama, what defines us, doesn't work very well with that. Can't work very well because the hardwired of my system is not being serviced properly. I'm breaking down the system. Okay?
But
So-
Hashem gives us a choice. We
Huh?
do have free choice.
Of course we do. Yeah, of course we do. But you got to know who you are. I have to know who I am. Yes.
Like, let's say from the beginning of time, like God knew.
Yeah.
So just set us up in this whole, like, berachot and.
Like Debbie.
So that no one should. Yeah, question.
Okay, so, okay, beautiful. So let's address your point. So it really goes like this, okay? We have the opportunity to have a super close relationship with God and ourselves. We have that opportunity. A relationship which comes from doing and knowing, yeah? And that's what we're tooled for. So if I want to operate on this plane, I can. But if I want to operate on a higher plane in terms of knowing myself, I'm going to know more about me. And what is the know more about me? It's Jewish law and it's Jewish text, because me is my soul. That's what defines me. So I could read umpteen books, but I'm not going to know myself any better. So if I want to know myself and know God, and by the way, we know God, we don't believe in God. We don't believe in God. That's wrong. It's wrong. We know God. We know that there's God. We know that he cares about us. We know that he built us. And that's what we're working on all our lives. Okay? Yeah, again.
Feel like you can take that to a certain point. The child will do things and grow up, and then at some point, you want to understand why they're doing it.
No,
Right.
no.
Unless you don't. Unless you don't.
It's so fun to find
So
out
that's why I want you to be challenged by this, Sarah. I got it. I understand your perspective. I respect it very much. But I want you to challenge yourself with this thing. I want you to challenge yourself with in Judaism, it's not the why, and never was. It never was. So if I understand,
Blindly accepted.
huh?
You're saying it should be blindly accepted. The same
I'm
thing.
not, I'm saying that the why doesn't give you vision. In Judaism, the why doesn't give you vision, the how gives you vision. Let's drill down a little further and do an example, and then you'll see. Okay, let's do it this way. How's this? Why do we light the candles of Hanukah?
I don't know. It's in our system.
Okay, why do we light the candles of Hanukah?
It's in our neshama.
Because of the miracle. Right? What do candles have to do with a miracle? Why shouldn't I jump on a, what do you
Because it's
call it?
part of who we are.
Jumping rope. Why shouldn't I jump on a jumping rope to commemorate the miracle of Hanukah?
That's not how
Why
we were
shouldn't I
raised.
go around and curate oil? Why shouldn't I? No, why shouldn't I? No, I'm not trying to be facetious. Why shouldn't I? Why?
That's not how we were raised.
Okay, it's not how we were raised. Exactly.
No, but it's in us. It's in our neshama to do this.
That's why we're here. We're gonna shake some things up a little bit. Yeah.
We were
Okay.
told the Torah that we should light candles, no?
Okay, so that's why I'm lighting it. Okay, good. So do I understand anything better when I follow that thing? I don't understand
No,
anything
no.
because they found their little flask of oil and they lit and they were able to lit and the light lasted for 8 days with the thing. So now what do you want to do? So now what do you want to do? Celeste, you with me? What do you
want to do with it?
Huh? Okay, no, I don't know if you're,
We don't question those things, Ricky. We don't question those things. We don't
okay,
question
so
them.
now we're gonna figure out what we do. Okay, so,
all these people that we know that came from homes that was very religious, that had all the how. What made them throw it all away?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I really can't.
They didn't have the water?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I
don't.
I can't answer why this happened to that person, to that person. I don't know.
See so many, they come from.
Okay, it could be. I don't know. It could be.
Right.
Now, another how question, guys. Another how, we could go back to Carabot next week, no problem. Huh?
Take care of it. That's right. How about Purim?
Doing the jobs of what I like, you're doing Shabbat. okay?
That's right.
But
Good.
the person was, the way you answered me before, you said you have to know God.
Yeah, our goal is to know
It's
God,
not the what.
and that's why we're involved in the how.
Our goal
Let's-
is also to be the best that we could be.
And that's, and again, why we do it with the how. That's again why it's that. So let's go a few more hows. Another how is that we make the beracha. Did we say this already? We make the beracha before the mitzvah.
Yes.
Okay, it's called over la'asiyatan, before the mitzvah. Very good, good. And we learned together, some of us, that certain mitzvot, when I can't make the beracha before the mitzvah, like what? Huh? Well, Gamel's a little, I can't make it before the mitzvah. I can't make the beracha before the mitzvah. Okay, but I make the beracha before, beautiful. I make the beracha before the hamotzi, right? And that's berkat shevach, right? A little drop different. Talk to me about the classic beracha that I can't make before I do the mitzvah.
About Havdalah,
No.
on shul, when it's in
Classic.
front of a lot of people, you switch it up.
I
Like
don't
the
know.
Hanukah,
Yeah,
don't
because it's not
you?
Shabbat, yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, yeah? Which one? How?
By eating and washing and eating and making Birkat Hamazon.
Very nice. Okay, good. Hold those. Those are shevach. I want you to hold those. That's right. And it goes to your point as well. Those are shevach. Those are praise. That's about praise. I want to leave that for a minute. Okay. Well, the classic mitzvah that we can't say the beracha before is when we wash our hands in the morning.
Say that.
Why can't we say the beracha before? because our hands are tameh, right? Our hands are impure, so we can't say the beracha before, right? Because you don't,
Every time you wash your hands, it's saying it after them.
huh?
Not only in the morning, every time you wash.
Okay, fine, good, okay, good. But in the morning, that's my model, okay? Now, when do I? Yes, Modani, we have rabbis go back and forth on it, and they end up saying yes. We can't say the beracha before, right? But didn't you tell me it's over la'asiyatan before I do it? So what do we hold? We extend it and we say it's a how point. It's a how point. We say that until I completed the mitzvah, I can still say the beracha. Okay? Yeah, beauty, right? Okay, so why can I say the beracha of al netilat yadayim in the morning, in the middle, or before I dry them? Didn't I do the mitzvah already by washing? Yes, but we say that we have competing how issues in halacha, and we could put one against the other, and we say how number one is to say the beracha first. How number two is that I can't say a beracha if I'm impure. Therefore, we create a new halachic reality of a how, which is I can say it any time the mitzvah goes on until I finished it. Cool?
But that beracha is not to put you into the beracha. It's into the mitzvah.
Very nice. It really is, but I have no choice. That's the only way I can say it. You're right.
You didn't say the beracha, and you did your netilah.
You're fine. You fulfilled the mitzvah, right? You didn't say the beracha. It's about bringing me to another level of awareness about the how that I'm about to do so that I do it better. Okay, now we have
I have a
another.
question.
Yeah,
Hi. I understand the value of Naaseh and Nishma, but why don't we learn about the mitzvah first before doing it if that's going to help us do it better?
because
Question.
tell me, answer your question, offer an answer for your question. Why don't we learn about the mitzvah first and then do it?
Well, I think it's the Naaseh and the Nishma thing. We want to show Hashem that it doesn't matter how much we know, we'll do it anyway because we're loyal to him. But I do feel like if I learned about the mitzvah first, I would do it better.
You absolutely would. So why don't we do it that way?
I don't know.
Work it. Why don't we do it that way? You're asking a great question. Why don't we do it that way? Because we believe in the action, ready, fire, aim. That's what we do. We get in the game, we taste the how, we understand the part of it. And by the way, because it's all about the how, I reflect on how I did the mitzvah, and then I go learn how to do more of it or how to do it better. That's why I jump in first, because I don't care about
Yeah,
the
that's a
why.
good point.
I
That's a
want to
good
get it
point.
done. So Kelly, to your point, if I was going to wait until I figured out all of the elements of how of doing a mitzvah, it would be very hard to ever get there. Because, for example, kibbud av va'em, right? Honoring a parent. Let's just say, and I'm going to give you an exaggerated case. How many pages does Chaim Ovadia Yosef write, right? The greatest mind in the last 500 years, right? The greatest mind, unquestionably, nothing to talk about. How many pages does he write on the mitzvah that seems so simple and straightforward? How many do you think? This is a man whose brilliance was in his brevity. What do you think?
On
How
Abba Fame, Kabir Abba Fame.
How many?
100.
What do you think? 100. Take another guess. Kibbud av va'em, honoring a parent. How much more straightforward does it get? Does anybody say that they don't want to honor a parent? No, but he writes 1,000 pages.
Wow.
1,000 pages.
Wow. I don't know how.
Why? Because it ain't about the why. Everybody knows why we honor a parent, but we don't know what millions of what we have to know on how to honor a parent. Do you know you can't tell a parent that's right, mom?
Kidding.
Do you know that? No.
Why?
Talked about this a long
Now we
time.
can talk about the why.
You can't tell a parent, I agree with you. Who are you to agree with your mother? Who are you as a parent? Not you. Who are you? To agree with the parent? You're gonna agree with your mother? What are you joking?
What could we?
And you can't do a lot of that stuff. You can't do a lot of that stuff. So where is 1,000 pages, dear friends? Huh?
We come, we don't, we make a sitting like we.
Listen, try to avoid it. It's very hard.
we didn't
But
know
a
that.
child should train himself. Well, don't say it. Don't say it.
Ricky, I have a question.
Yeah. Who's that?
Ricky,
Yes.
Michelle. Okay, so you're saying that he has 1,000 pages on the how. How does he differentiate those hows? Like, how does he come to those understanding? Like the fact that you said you're not allowed to say, I agree with you to your mother. How does he come to that?
Beautiful. So excellent. So he's basing it on, in his case, about 3,000 years of halacha development in this category, based on a couple of psukim in the Chumash about respecting and fearing parents. He takes those and he takes all the oral law that was built from those, and he summarizes the opinions of the majority in each case. Huh? I didn't finish the 1,000 pages. No, it's a lifetime. No, I went to buy the book. I said, you're kidding. He maybe has 1,000 pages on Shabbat. Maybe. What do you mean? How's he talking about? What's more pashut than honoring a parent? Nothing. One thing. Can I disagree with the parent? Of course not. Of course not. Can I tell a parent you're right, i.e. I agree with you, Daddy? Of course not.
But the parent could.
What do you mean? What about two people?
But the parent could be doing wrong.
What?
The parent could be doing wrong.
That's true. We're not talking about the parents. Now we're talking about the kids.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can we make a blanket statement? I hope we can.
yeah.
But I think. So, the question
Okay, I love it, but I want to tease it a little bit. Vivian said, if we ask the why question, we're focusing on ourselves. If we ask the how question, I'm focusing on God. But the reality is that's true. But I want to bring it down. I want you to do a drop down on this. That when I get to the real how, it's all about me. It really is all about me. Huh?
How to get to that point?
That's right.
It's a cop out if you want to get there from the how. I mean.
From the why. That's right.
It's a shortcut. If
That's
you
right.
Go from the why of hearing, I
Yeah.
think that's a shortcut.
That's right. And it's not true. It's totally not true because the why we think we do Shabbat in 2022 can be very different on why they thought they did Shabbat in 1922, right?
So what's the answer?
So the answer is that we do it because of the how. Okay. And we want to be learning more and more and more and more of the how. So let's do a little more hows, right?
So the how is the experience.
The how is the experience. The how are the details. The details. In Judaism, we love the details. And by the way, the more we know the details of the halakha, the same way, the more we know the details of the pasuk and how different halachot or different verses connect together, it's paradise. It's a celebration. How do you feel when you're connecting dots? Huh? You're celebrating. You're dancing in this intellectual paradise. It doesn't get better than that. That's the truth. That's just the truth. Now you could give me umpteen zillion whys and it doesn't get me there. Because they may be right because you grew up in Brooklyn and you think that's the why, and she grew up someplace else and she thinks that's the why. And by the end of the day, you're both wrong. Good. Okay?
Okay.
So again, the why doesn't matter.
The why doesn't matter. Kids, I'll tell you how. Very good. Very good. To Rochelle's point. How do we teach our children to do the hows? We have to start basing our connection to Judaism on the hows, not the whys. The why is just not serious. Well, why, mommy? Why? No, I'm saying why, mommy? Why? Yeah, because they grow up in Western culture. We got to get off that. Okay, let's do a few more hows and.
Passover, all those why questions, why is this guy the president? That's true.
That's very.
I
Where-
feel like the lack of the why is almost like a kivura ba'em thing.
I'm asking a how question, my dear. we're actually asking a how question. I'm gonna rephrase that. How is it that this night that we're doing it different today than yesterday? Okay, but yes, it really honestly, it's a how question. Now, let's go a little bit further. No, I'm not just saying it. Let's go a little bit further. So we have the how of saying the bracha before, so that the mitzvah becomes more embellished to us. Good. Now, let's drop down to a few other hows. We believe that when I do something, right, and I share it with others, it's that much better of an action. Okay? Therefore, if I do something publicly, a mitzvah publicly, it's a better action. Why? Because I express my connection to myself and God to somebody else who sees it and hopefully is inspired by it, right? So we have this concept of pirsumei nisa, of publicizing the miracle, publicizing the mitzvah. So what does this mean? It means if I could do a mitzvah publicly or not, in general, do it publicly.
That's what we spoke last week.
Huh?
That
Yeah.
Others should see.
Beautiful. Tiferet. Beautiful, Rachel. So I do it publicly. Whenever I can do something publicly, I do it publicly, right? It's called to be mefasem, to publicize, right? Now, doing something publicly is a how, correct? It's doing something publicly is a how. Good. Doing something publicly, that way of doing it, that how of doing it, is very, very, very pervasive in Judaism. I.e., if I can do something publicly, it has infinitely greater value. Cool? What? That's right. Excellent.
Right.
Kiddush Hashem. Perfect.
Right.
Very good. By the way, that's a whole nother category that we should run on.
It gives validity to it.
Right.
It makes it bad. Okay.
Huh?
Makes it real. It gives validity to it. It makes it real.
And it grows people and it builds people. Now, here's the thing. Let's put a few pieces together. It's about the how, right? How I do it. Yeah. It's about how I do it, because the more I know about the how and the more I invest in the how, the more I grow from it, the closer I get to me and the closer I get to God. Not based on the why. Why do I do this? Based on being very in the details about how to do it. Good. We have a little bit of a circle that wraps around it that says, I'll put two circles. One circle is everything is a chok, even honoring a parent. So forget anything else. And the other circle that goes around it is Celeste's point that when you can inspire somebody else to do it, you've already built a whole nother dimension in life and in the Jewish world. Okay. We're going to add one other piece and then we're going to pull it all together. What is the concept of hidur mitzvah? What is it? Making it more beautiful, right? So what is it, Rochelle? Put it into our terms of today. What is hidur mitzvah? Beautifying mitzvah is what?
Find the nicest robe you could buy, making things-
Excellent. So where is it manifest in what? In the how. Beauty. When I do the hidur mitzvah, when I beautify the mitzvah, when I spend that extra X on a nicer etrog, when I decorate my sukkah a little nicer, when I work harder, not me, but when you all work much harder on the meals and stuff, that's called hidur mitzvah. That's very beautiful. And what does that mean? Go back to our first point, that the greater that I invest in the how, the greater I'm going to grow. The hidur mitzvah is a beautification of the mitzvah based on a greater effort. So the more effort I put in to beautify the mitzvah, to make it more, the more I'm going to grow from it, because it's all about the how. Huh?
Good.
It's like the children. Fantastic. Perfect, Linda. It's like my child. It's all about what I'm putting into this kid, right? What I'm building in. The more I build in, the more the child is going to be. And our relationship is going to be. Huh? No, no, I don't want to go there. But I don't want to go there, but no, I want to go there, because you're right. It's a great point. It's a great point. Let's take another minute and mention it. Tikkun olam means not going out there and fixing the world. That's not what tikkun olam means. Tikkun olam means that I do the house better and better and better so that the world becomes better. So that's actually, you're exactly right what you're saying. That's tikkun olam. That's right.
Is it I do the house better?
I do the house better. By me doing the house better, the non-Jewish guy around the corner is going to grow. What do you mean? Did I directly reach into his life? No. But by my doing my house better, he's going to grow. Okay.
I'm role model.
Last role model. Last point. Let's put it all together. Now, we have this thing called the candles of Hanukah, right? Good. The mitzvah is, how many candles is the mitzvah? One. One candle, one. If I light one candle on the 8th night, do I fulfill the mitzvah? 100%. One. Okay. What is the hidur mitzvah? The beautification is everything else. Good. So you with me? So the mitzvah is one candle for Hanukah. So if a person didn't have the ability to have more than one, he says the beracha first, lights the one, he fulfilled the mitzvah. Good. If I want to be mehader, if I want to beautify the mitzvah, the parameters to do hidur mitzvah, to do the how on a greater level, is to do 1.3. So instead of one candle, you would have had 1.3 in this case. In the case of an etrog, for example, if you could have spent $100 on it to do the basic mitzvah, you spend 130. Okay, so how many candles do we light on the 4th night? We light 4. No, shamash separate. Leave the shamash. We light 4 candles, right? We light 4 candles on the 4th night. How much of a beautification of the mitzvah are we doing? 400%. Didn't you tell me it's 30% more? How did we get to 400%? What about on the last night where I light 8 candles? The beautification is what? 800%. Is there any other how like this in Judaism, dear friends? Is there? No. This is the only how that is exaggerated 800 up to 800%. So when you're looking at the mitzvah and you know you're a how focused guy or gal from Monday morning, this Monday going forward, God willing, you say, what is going on here? Why is the how so different? Okay, we can talk about it in a few minutes.
And why is it 800%?
Exactly. Why? Could you don't have it with anything else in all of your mitzvot. Now, if you weren't focused on the how, you didn't focus on the fact that you only need one, but our how is 8, and you only focused on why we lied because of this little jog, this, that, whatever, you'd never have this question. You'd never deal with it, right?
Genius thing that you just said. If you count all the nights, it's 36 candles that you're lighting.
Right.
You're lighting 36 instead of 8.
Right.
So you're technically lighting 4 candles on average a night.
Yep.
1,
Right.
right? So I was gonna say it comes out to 1.3. It comes out the opposite. You're lighting 300 times more
Beauty.
than the 1.
Beautiful.
Instead of 1.3.
You're right. Yeah,
1.1.
excellent.
You're
Excellent.
doing 3
And you could play that because you know the how, and you're struggling with the how. And this is where the party starts. It's so much fun to struggle with the how. It's like digging into the pasuk. There's nothing like it. There ain't no better time. I tell you, there's no better time than the how. So now here I am with this how, right? I should have 1.3 max. I have 8, right? Why? Oh,
Ricky,
another, yeah.
Is it because
No, why is this how? Why am I doing it this way? Oh, why? Oh, sorry. Okay. I knew they were going to do it. Oh, you caught me.
Yeah.
Why? That's great. Why do I do it this? Why do I do this how this way? Okay. That was a great one. Who caught that?
It's like playing golf. You hit the golf ball, but you don't know why.
Well, we don't-
It's
Let's
how.
let's It's compounded.
Is it because the light of the menorah is like the light of the candles is a special light and Hashem wants to expose us to it, like to the max, like for our zechut?
Beautiful, Kelly. You're 2 steps ahead of
She's
me. Hold
good.
that for 2
She's
more minutes.
good.
And we're gonna get to that. Hold that, okay? So now, we have this thing, but the how becomes even more compounded because what do we say about the beracha? I say the beracha when?
First.
Before, right? And when do I not say the beracha before? When I can't, right? If my hands are come in, right? If my hands are impure. And then I say the beracha during. Now, if the mitzvah is completed with 1 candle lit, that's what I need, Linda, right? I only need 1. So how come I could say the beracha on the 8th night, for example, until I light candle number 8? Right, I'm supposed to say it before the first one, right? If I forget to say it before the first one, I could say it on the 8th night until the 8th one. I could say it on the 4th night until the 4th one. But isn't that the beautification of the mitzvah? So it's on top of the mitzvah? Isn't it separate? Didn't I already fulfill the mitzvah by saying it by lighting the first candle? Yes. So how is it? I'm not going to say why is it because I'll get trapped. How is it that I can say the beracha until the 8th candle? And it goes to Kelly's point, which we're going to hit in a minute. How is it? Come on, work it. I have this thing of persemenitza, of publicizing the mitzvah. It's a huge value in Judaism. Somebody mentioned Kiddush Hashem. Exactly. Tikkun Olam. Exactly. Huge value in Judaism. So now what do I want to do? Huh?
Because you're making 1 mitzvah by lighting candles, but the second mitzvah is doing to show to everyone.
Fabulous. Beauty. Beauty. And because persume,
That's what.
Repeat that, Ricky. What's the answer?
Persumenitza, publicizing the miracle, publicizing the mitzvah is such a big thing. I take the beautification of the mitzvah, which is not on the same level as the absolute fulfillment. I raise it up. I put it on the same level as the fulfillment. And I say that I could say the beracha up until the last one. So one more time. I should say the beracha before I do the mitzvah. Why? Because I want to pump myself up. I want to be thinking about it. I want to make my how my best how ever, right? I didn't. For whatever reason, I forgot. Okay. When do you want to say it? I did the mitzvah already. I completed it. And normally, if you want to say you can complete it until you do the hidur, the beautification, well, the beautification is 1.3. How could I say the beautification at level 400? The answer is, as Linda noted, because over here we have another halacha value, another how element, which is the element of publicizing the miracle. Because I have the value of publicizing the miracle, I push the beautification, which is here, up to the same level of the mitzvah itself, and I could say the beracha at any time. And when else do we do this? Never. Never.
Have a good time, Ricky.
And
There's only one Hanukah.
that is, and now we're going to talk about Kelly's point. And that is the uniqueness of Hanukah. It's in the house. Don't tell me about the war and this or that. Valuable, good. Good.
Nice story.
Don't tell me about the little
Queen Esther and everything. Nice story.
huh? Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, good. But let's go. When we break through and we bend our brains to understand how things get done and what the construct is, now you get to the source of the holiday, which is, now to Kelly's point. Kelly, repeat your point.
Kelly, go ahead.
No, I was saying that there's a special light to the Hanukkah candles and Hashem wants to expose us to them to the maximum effect.
Beautiful. Why? Yes, Les?
Also, Hanukkah is when it's the darkest time, particularly in the calendar. So,
Right.
so when people are like the most, let's say, pressed so dark so early, Hashem brings us the light of Hanukkah. so
Awesome.
that lift,
Awesome.
right.
Awesome. So we go like this, and we're going to wrap it full circle and wrap up. What do we want in life? We want this or, this light. What is the light? It's knowledge that brings us the knowledge of God. What is God? When it said Vayhi Or, right? In the first couple of psukim, it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu declared that there would be light, and there was light. We know, it's clear, it's pashut, that wasn't physical light. The moon and the sun didn't come till day 4, right? Day 3, day 4, right? They didn't come till day 4, yeah? So the light that God creates in the very beginning had nothing to do with physical light. What was it? It was this huge, boundless reservoir of knowledge that was everywhere and anywhere for anyone and everyone to get. Say that Adam and Hava could see from one end of the earth to the other with nothing, no problem, nothing, no limitation, right? How do we get closest to God? With or, with light, which is unfettered, unlimited knowledge. So to Celeste's point, and to build on Kelly's point, what is the light of the candles? It's this light of creation. It's the light of knowledge. We say the Mazal in the month of Kislev, this month is knowledge, it's intellect. If you have a complex issue in your life, focus on it now, because the access to or, the access to knowledge, the access to chokhmah is boundless now. So what is God in terms of our access to him? He's infinite knowledge, infinite understanding. And that's what we want. We want the knowledge. So why do we revel in this, in the lights of the Hanukah? Because it represents what we're here for. We're here to understand the hows of God, how it works, how he built it, how it all came about. And doing it, but learning, doing. So that's why the rabbis say that someone who takes care in lighting the Hanukah candles will have children who are B'nai and B'not Torah. What does one have to do with the other? It has everything to do, because light is the light of knowledge. It's the light of wisdom. It's our oxygen. It is our oxygen. There's nothing else that fuels a Jewish neshama like knowledge and wisdom. Nothing.
Oxygen fuels fire.
Huh? Yeah, good. Good. Oxygen fuels fire. So this is how we approach Hanukkah.
So the
This
only
is-
way we
yeah.
could get it is on Hanukkah.
Huh?
The only way we could get it is on Hanukkah.
Well, okay, good. So what was the upshot of Hanukkah, and how do you tie all the pieces together?
You can't leave out the little piece of the Etz Hada'at, I'm sorry.
Okay, go.
The tree of knowledge, the whole idea that they wanted to attain knowledge through asking about the whys. Oh, why can't I eat it? Oh, why?
Oh, very nice.
That, they lost it.
Mm.
But if you, with God saying you want to attain knowledge, it's hadat. The knowledge will be attained by not asking the
That's-
why question.
Beauty. All right. All right.
So,
Now,
That's it, the Makeba Patish. So when we build our value system in Judaism, it's a knowledge-based value system. We're hungry for knowledge. That's why we say you should steal a moment to learn Torah. Steal a moment, grab a moment, anytime, anywhere. And the fact is that all knowledge is beautiful because it all comes from God. It all originates with that. Hanukah, what was the great success of Hanukah? Because the Maccabees beat the Romans off for a couple hundred years, and a couple hundred years was over, by the way. It's a minute in time. It wasn't this fantastic overarching victory. It was a blip on the screen of human history, 200, 250 years. What did it mean? What it meant was that the oral law was saved. Had it not been for the Maccabees' victory, the proponents, the great rabbis of the oral law would have been finished. And the oral law, which is our light, which is our how, would have been gone. So Hanukkah is the holiday of light, i.e. knowledge, i.e. oral law, i.e. all the things. I'm going to tell you one other quick thing. And we did this once, some of us, and we'll wrap up with this. I was teaching yesterday, I was teaching something about the struggle of Yaakov Avinu with the angel, right? Teaching, and we did this once, I don't know if you remember, teaching about the struggle of Yaakov Avinu with the angel. And I taught it based on the last 3 parashiyot leading up to a certain thing. Grand slam, right? 45 minutes later, right? Good. And then I closed the book, I turned it over, I opened it again, and I taught a completely different idea on Yaakov and the angel. Huh? So one of the boys says to me, goes, so which one is right? And what's the Jewish answer? Both. They're both right. Because it's all about the knowledge. It's all about the oral law. It's all about the development. And I told this guy, I said, not only are those two the right approaches, there's another 68, right? And they're all right. I don't know if you guys remember. Some of you remember. We'll wrap up with this. Some of you may remember. We were doing a parashah class together. I taught it one way. I closed the book, and then I taught it completely differently. And not too many people were happy about it at the time. But it's about the love of knowledge. It's not about buttoning things up. It's about learning all the hows. And when the hows even sometimes conflict, it's very exciting. So what did we learn? A, it's about the how, right? B, we say the berachah before. C, we could say the berachah during in certain cases. D, we have the idea of beautifying the mitzvah. You do it a mitzvah, which is usually 30%. In this case, it's several 100%. Drop down, we have the concept of Pirsumei Nisa, which is publicizing something, building people with it. Kunaldam, building, growing, shouting, right? That puts a supercharge behind the candles of Hanukah, which brings us to a point that we don't beautify the mitzvah with 30%, we beautify it with 800%, and we can not only say the berachah in the beginning, we could say it up until the last one.
I have a question.
Okay?
I have one quick how question. What time we light the candles after sunset? Like how long after sunset is that? Does that?
We usually light them when the stars come out, but if we have to light them early, we can light them right after sunset, as long as they'll burn for 20 minutes or so after the stars come out.
And if you don't light them till later, is that?
That's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I mean, ideally you light it early, but if the family's around later and stuff, so we do it later.
Is it less of the beautifying of the mitzvah?
If the streets get really quiet, then yes, Michelle, exactly. Then that's right. Yes.
Netanyahu
Here, the
spoken,
streets- Around here, the streets don't really get quiet till 10, 11 o'clock, so. Right.
Ricky,
Yeah.
just for you to know, Netanyahu spoke in Congress about the Maccabees saving us. We should have been gone a long time ago.
Oh, great. Oh, I got to hear
And
that.
that was exposed to a grand audience.
Unreal. Perfect. Thank you. Great to see everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
For joining. Great to see you. Bye.